Tonight, two major aviation stories breaking as we come on the air. The announcement today that 10% of flights will be cut at large airports across the country due to the shutdown, and the death toll rising in that UPS plane crash in Kentucky. The drastic action by the FAA set to cut flights by 10% at major airports due to the shutdown and staffing. What it means if you have a flight booked. Plus, disturbing new dash cam video of the moment of impact for that UPS plane. The massive explosion that killed at least 11, including a child. Its path of destruction a half-mile long. And the images investigators are now poring over. The plane on fire during takeoff and what appears to be a burnt-out engine left behind. The new terror arrest. The suspects captured, accused of trying to join ISIS. One of them, the son of an American poet, and the Halloween weekend plot they're connected to. Democratic sweep. President Trump blaming the shutdown for the string of Republican losses last night, as our reporter presses Zoran Mamdani on how he'll make his agenda a reality. The vicious typhoon tearing through the Philippines, dozens killed, homes washed away, residents stranded on rooftops. The shocking video, Mexico's female president groped while out in public. She's pressing charges tonight. The urgent search for a missing 9-year-old girl spotted in surveillance images wearing a wig and a disguise with her mother. Why did her mom switch out license plates on their car? And new details on how Tom Brady cloned his late dog. Well, one of the scientists that helped do it told me about how much it costs if you wanted to replicate your pet. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. We begin tonight with the major announcement from the FAA, which will have widespread impacts on air travel across the country in the days and weeks ahead. Late today, the agency announcing they're going to cut 10% of flights at 40 of the biggest airports nationwide. They say staffing shortages at air traffic control centers are so dire, and the ones who are working are so stretched, the cuts are necessary to ensure safety. The reason? You guessed it, the government shutdown, which today hit a new milestone, the longest shutdown ever with no end in sight. Emily Aketa has the very latest from Newark International Airport tonight. And Emily, when will these changes start?
Well, Tom, the Transportation Secretary says the cuts will go into effect beginning Friday morning and are expected to impact thousands of flights a day across 40 high-traffic airports around the country. Officials calling the 10% reduction in flying capacity a proactive measure to alleviate the pressure on the system and air traffic controllers, who, remember, have been working without pay during the government shutdown. Some even picking up second jobs to make ends meet. Shortages, remember, of air traffic controllers have plagued the industry well before the shutdown. A senior government official says Newark will be impacted. The FAA saying that they will announce all of the impacted airports tomorrow, Tom.
All right, Emily Aketa on that breaking news tonight. Emily, we thank you. And that other major story tonight, the tragic crash of that UPS cargo plane in Louisville, Kentucky. We just learned at least 12 people are dead, and officials are unsure if even more people were killed on the ground. Tom Costello is there tonight.
Tonight, NTSB investigators are looking closely at the tremendous amounts of video and photographic evidence of the final moments of UPS Flight 2976.
Believed to be a plane crash, huge fire and smoke.
This video already proving to be critical evidence, appearing to show the plane's left wing or engine already on fire as the MD-11 barreled down the runway on its takeoff roll. Investigators say the cargo jet, fully loaded with fuel, managed to clear the fence at the end of the runway, but quickly banked to the right and slammed to the ground, hitting several businesses, including an auto parts company with employees and customers inside.
There was literally fire and flames around them, and they got out safely. We had other employees that escaped out through back windows.
The massive explosion sent flames, debris, and giant clouds of black smoke into the air. The debris field spread over half a mile.
What this scene is violent. Where the plane hit, at best, is destroyed. What you see are mangled remnants what was in its path.
Investigators have already recovered the plane's left engine found between two runways. Airport CCTV captured the moment that engine came off the wing. And TSB board member Todd Inman.
It gives us a much better picture of what was happening before you start to see the fire and before the detachment actually occurs.
Investigators have also found the plane's cockpit voice and flight data recorders, the black boxes, in the smoldering wreckage.
While the fire may have been intense, it is built to withstand that.
Tonight, the death toll stands at 12, including a child on the ground.
We've seen burns. We've seen blast injuries from the explosion itself.
The 3 pilots on board did not survive. Tonight, the airport is partially open as the NTSB scours the field for evidence.
Such a horrific accident. Let's pick up right there. Tom joins us live from the Louisville airport, which is UPS's largest hub in North America. Tom, are operations there still affected tonight?
Yeah, UPS says it actually suspended its package delivery operations this morning. It told some ships not to even come to work. That means that some shipments, for example, medications, business deliveries, online shopping, those shipments likely are probably going to be delayed. On a typical day, they handle 2 million packages right here at the UPS World Port. Tom Costello for us tonight. Tom, thank you. More developing news now at the Supreme Court this time. Arguments over President Trump's sweeping tariffs, with several justices questioning the president's authority to implement them. Senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett joins me now. Laura, the conservatives seem to really give a hard time to the lawyer for the Trump administration.
Tom, this is a core part of the president's economic agenda, and tonight it appears to be that these tariffs are in real jeopardy. You have every member of the conservative majority pressing the Trump administration's lawyer about how these could possibly be justified when the federal law at issue says nothing about tariffs, and these could cost the average consumer roughly $1,200 by the end of this year. Now, the court seems to say this is really something that Congress should be doing, not a matter for the president to be doing. They understand the president says this is about national security, but at least one of the justices says, how are you going to unwind this if we were to actually strike this down?
Yeah, so you mentioned the consumers, the businesses also affected. If they do strike this down, what happens to the businesses that pay these tariffs?
We're talking about a massive reimbursement effort, potentially, Tom. The Treasury Department says we're talking about up to $1 trillion as if it was actually to go into next year. Now, I say if, because the justices could come back fast on this. This is moving at lightning speed for these justices. I think you're going to see this decision before next summer.
Okay, $1 trillion. All right. Thanks so much, Laura. Yeah. Now to the big wins for Democrats in those high-stake races across the country. Today, President Trump weighing in on why he thinks Republicans lost. Here's Sam Brock.
After marquee wins for Democrats in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia, President Trump downplaying the defeats, noting Democrats won in blue states.
Last night it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody.
Saying the federal government shutdown cost the GOP.
The shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor. But I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that.
While today in New York City.
Last night, we made history.
34-year-old Zohran Mamdani, barely on the political radar a year ago, is now mayor-elect. The Democratic Socialist winning with campaign pledges like universal child care and government-run grocery stores.
Are you worried folks think that might happen overnight? And what would your first step in office be from day one?
My first day in City Hall will look like my last day. It will be focused on the cost of living crisis.
Mamdani winning just over 50% of the vote in a 3-person race in his victory speech, going after President Trump.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
The president responding, posting, and so it begins. Republicans argue that Democrats will pay a political price for Mamdani's victory.
You have an avowed socialist now taking the helm of the Democratic Party. He will become the face of the Democrats nationwide.
While in Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger winning the governor's race. And in New Jersey's contest for governor, Democrat Mikey Sherrill easily defeating Trump-aligned Jack Ciattarelli.
I'm working for everyone. Every single one of you.
And tonight, California Republicans are suing, calling a newly approved redistricting map designed to give Democrats more congressional seats unconstitutional racial gerrymandering.
Sam joins us live now. Sam, back to the mayor's race. We know Mamdani has faced backlash over his past criticisms of the NYPD. He was asked today about whether he'll keep the police commissioner.
That's right, Tom. Today, Mr. Mamdani reaffirming his desire to keep Jessica Tisch as the NYPD commissioner, though, Tom, it's not clear if she's going to stay. What we do know is that the fire department commissioner has expressed his desire to resign in December. He has not provided a reason why. Tom.
Changes underway. All right, Sam, we thank you. Also tonight, what the FBI says started out as a thwarted Halloween terror attack has now grown to include 3 more arrests across the country. Tom Winter joins us now tonight. And Tom, suspects have been arrested in various states. They were inspired by ISIS, allegedly?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Details have been pouring in all afternoon following the arrest by the FBI and the NYPD of 2 men in New Jersey. More charges for 3 men allegedly connected to that ISIS-inspired Halloween plot in Detroit as well. In New Jersey, Thomas Khan Jimenez Guzel was arrested at the airport food court, allegedly trying to join ISIS in Syria. And Milo Sedarat, son of a famed Iranian-American poet, separately charged with making threats. Neither has yet to enter a plea. All told, 5 people have now been identified as having been involved in that Detroit plot, some allegedly purchasing assault rifles and over 1,000 rounds of ammo. Law enforcement is deeply concerned that this investigation shows ISIS continues to have support among so-called lone wolf attackers, and in some instances is back to having direct communication with its followers, Tom.
Tom Winter with those new arrests. Tom, we thank you for that. We head overseas now because tonight we have a rare look inside of Gaza. Our reporter traveling into the territory and our first close-up look at the scale of destruction there since the ceasefire. Matt Bradley with that new video tonight.
Tonight, everywhere you look, the destruction in Gaza is overwhelming. This is the Shujaiya neighborhood in ruins.
This is my first time visiting and seeing this destruction close up since the ceasefire.
Israel's military took journalists into Gaza on the condition that we not show the military facilities or faces of most military personnel, for what the IDF said are security reasons. The devastation can be seen from space. This was that neighborhood before October 7th, this after 2 years of war.
Just a month ago, this would have been the scene of some of the fiercest, loudest fighting of the war.
Israeli forces withdrew as part of the ceasefire. In the distance, that's Hamas-controlled territory. The IDF says Hamas is still firing on Israeli troops. You can see the shell casings from the IDF firing back.
From here, we've seen Hamas violate the agreement almost on a daily basis. In some days, more than on a daily basis.
Both sides accuse each other of violating the peace deal, which is still holding. They took us to a fortified outpost over Shujaiya, where Hamas said it exhumed the body of Itai Hen, the last American hostage still in Gaza. His remains finally returned last night.
2 years of hell, 2 years of sleepless nights. We could finally say the sentence we've been waiting for. Itai is back home.
Elsewhere in Gaza, Palestinians living in the middle of the destruction. This man, a father of 9 kids. We can't afford food, he said. Without this soup kitchen, we wouldn't eat.
Tonight, Hamas handed over the remains of what it said was another slain hostage, also exhumed in Shujaiya. The Israelis say they're working to identify the body. Tom?
Matt Bradley, we thank you. Now to the stunning video. Mexico's president today saying she's pressing charges against a man who groped her and tried to kiss her as she was meeting with voters. Here's Ellison Barber with that video.
A stunning video. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, kissed and seemingly groped near the presidential palace. A man approaches her from behind and appears to put his arm around her shoulders before leaning in. A quick walk, 5 minutes through Mexico City's historic district, upended yesterday.
Not even the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, escapes from men being disrespectful.
Why do men do this? Like, why are men this way? You wouldn't do that to a man candidate.
Now reigniting a national and global conversation about harassment. The president saying if they do this to the president, what will happen to all the young women in our country? At a press conference today, Sheinbaum saying she is pressing charges because she views this as something all women experience. In Mexico City, the UN says sexual harassment and other forms of gender-based violence are widespread in public areas. If they do it to Claudia Sheinbaum, they're doing it to us all, says one of Mexico's senators. President Sheinbaum says the man appeared intoxicated. Tonight, he's in police custody, suspected of harassing and inappropriately touching 3 women, including the president, on the same day. For many women in Mexico and beyond, this viral video is proof of something they already knew. Even a simple walk in broad daylight can be risky. Ellison Barber, NBC News.
And we're back in 60 seconds. The new twist in the search for a missing 9-year-old girl. Her mother apparently using wigs and changing license plates before she vanished. What police are telling us tonight. Now to that urgent search out west. New details on the disappearance of 9-year-old Melody Buzzard. Investigators now focusing on new surveillance images that show her wearing a wig. Here's Steve Patterson.
Tonight, investigators piecing together a scattered puzzle, now spread out over several states, hoping it leads to the safe return of 9-year-old Melody Buzzard.
We're getting closer and closer to figuring out where Melody is today.
Buzzard, last seen during a road trip with her mother nearly a month ago. Officials say this image shows mom Ashley Buzzard and her daughter in disguise, both appearing to be wearing wigs days before her school reported her missing. Authorities describing Ashley as a key person in the investigation, not a suspect, adding she's not cooperating.
At this point, Ashley has not been able to provide us with a plausible explanation as to where Melody is. Or where Melody was.
Detectives confirmed Ashley Buzzard left California with her daughter on October 7th, driving a white Chevy Malibu as far as Nebraska. On October 8th, authorities say the car's license plate was switched from California to New York to avoid detection. Melody was last seen on October 9th when surveillance video captured her near the Utah-Colorado border. The following day, Ashley used this route to drive home to California, arriving with no sign of her daughter.
We think that somebody might have taken notice of a child wearing a wig or a child wearing a wig with the hood pulled up, because it's not something that you see every day.
And tonight, the FBI telling us it is casting a wide net, reaching out to the public in all of those states where that road trip crossed. Tom?
All right, Steve Patterson for us. Steve, we thank you. We're back in a moment with the Chinese astronauts stranded in space tonight, why their return to Earth has been pushed back. Plus, we spoke to a scientist who helped clone Tom Brady's dog. So how much did it cost? That's next. We are back now with breaking news out of the Philippines. Dozens are dead and dozens more are missing after a typhoon tore through the region. Look at these images. Video shows homes reduced to rubble and streets inundated by floodwaters, forcing some people to climb onto the roof to seek shelter. Okay, we're turning now to outer space, where 3 Chinese astronauts, also known as taikonauts, are stranded. China's space authority says they were supposed to come back to Earth today, but their return capsule was hit by suspected space debris just hours before departure. No word yet on exactly when they will return now. Also tonight, we're learning more about how NFL star Tom Brady cloned his dog. I spoke to one of the scientists who helped make it possible about the cost of the procedure. He tells me anyone can sign up for
it's something that you really have to commit to. If you truly, truly love that animal, it's gonna cost a fair bit of money. But it is, it's a big process to go through to actually recreate these animals.
I'm gonna have to press you here. A fair bit of money. Are we talking tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million bucks?
No, under hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think tens of thousands of dollars is a more accurate figure.
Still pretty expensive. You can see that complete interview tonight on Top Story on our streaming channel, NBC News Now. When we come back tonight, the star wide receiver trading a football jersey for a new uniform. Why more and more football players are joining the force. That's next.
This ain't no position for you guys.
Finally, there is good news tonight for a group of former NFL players starting in a new position, this time off the field. How one sheriff's office in Florida managed to recruit 7 retired athletes to join their force. Kathy Park has this one.
Police recruit Lavernius Coles is back on his home turf.
Born and raised right here in Jacksonville.
This time at age 47, he's traded in his helmet and shoulder pads for a badge and gun. The former NFL wide receiver suiting up with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, protecting the same community where he grew up.
This job allows me to feel like I'm a part of something greater than myself, like I was when I was in the NFL.
He's not the only one joining this team. At least 7 other pro football players have joined a different kind of squad, and it's part of a clever recruiting effort to encourage more men and women to answer the call to service. Detective Jeff Kopp is a former linebacker who played 3 seasons with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The people who called us is probably their worst day. And you just get to go in there and bring calm and peace, de-escalate the situation, and then just help people figure stuff out.
How does the academy compare to training camp?
It's different. There's a lot more running. You know, we didn't run as much in the NFL. Like I ran more miles in the academy than I ever ran in my life.
So you have new respect for this job.
100%, a total new outlook on everything.
It's a totally natural fit. The pay's not as good as the NFL. But they're working on it, right? Right. He's laughing harder than me because he made a lot more than me.
Tackling a new career off the field.
It's giving me a sense of purpose, and I feel good about it.
Kathy Park, NBC News, Jacksonville, Florida.
That's Nightly News for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.